Hello everyone, my name is Kenton Kivestu. I'm an ex-BCG consultant, an ex-Googler, and the founder of Rocketblocks, an online platform that helps candidates prepare for interviews. In today's Rocketblocks mini lesson, we're going to talk about the McKinsey problem-solving test, often abbreviated PST, which is a daunting and scary topic for a lot of folks. It's the very beginning of the McKinsey interview process, so before you even get to case interviews or PEI, which is personal experience interviews, you have to pass the McKinsey problem-solving test. And what we're going to do in this video is we're first going to start and just cover the basics. What is the McKinsey PST and why does McKinsey use it? Then second, we'll talk about the specific skills that they're actually testing for with this test. And then the third section, we're actually going to look at some live examples of McKinsey PST questions and show how they are testing those specific skills. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, let's start with the format of the PST itself. Basically, this is a 60-minute time test with 26 questions on each test. So you've got a little bit less than 2.5 minutes for each question, which means you need to work quickly. And to add to the difficulty, you don't get to use a calculator, a phone, a computer, Excel sheet, anything like that. So you've got to do all the computation yourself. And the test itself is going to be administered typically on a computer. Sometimes you might be taking it in an exam room with pencil and paper. But basically, it's going to feel like a typical standardized test, like the SAT or the ACT in the States. So that's the format of the test. Now let's talk about why is McKinsey doing this. And really, I think the key thing that McKinsey is looking for is they want to try and get an objective signal across a wider range of candidates. One of the big challenges that a company like McKinsey has is that they receive hundreds of thousands of resumes in a given year. And there's a ton of different variables in those resumes. You have people from different stages of their career applying. You have people from very different types of degree programs applying, undergrad, grad school, law school, business school, PhDs. So really wide range from different countries. There's so many different variables, and getting an objective measure from a thing like the McKinsey PST can be very helpful to standardize and assess people across something that's a little more objective. Related to that is, if you think about it, McKinsey, because of that challenge of evaluating people just on the resumes, knows that if they only pick based off a resume who they're going to interview, that they may not end up interviewing all the best candidates. There may be hidden gems in there that are really, really talented, but for whatever reason, their resume isn't sticking out. And one way to solve that would be that McKinsey could interview everyone that applies, but that would be extremely human capital intensive and probably very inefficient. So a way to solve that problem in an efficient manner is create something like the McKinsey PST, where it's much easier to administer that and give that out to a wider range of candidates than they could ever actually interview. But then they can get that objective signal across a wider range of candidates than they're capable of interviewing, and make the decision on who they're interviewing based off a resume and off a PST as well. So it's really advantageous for them that way. And from a candidate perspective, it should be looked at as, in some ways, a benefit, because if your resume may not stand out as much, but you think you would do very well at this type of problem-solving test and demonstrate some of those skills McKinsey is looking for, this can be a good way to stick out. So next, we're going to talk about what are the actual skills that McKinsey is testing in the PST. Now let's talk about the specific skill sets that McKinsey is testing in the PST. And I think there's really three main ones that we want to cover. The first is quantitative skills. So McKinsey wants to make sure that you've got really strong quantitative skills. You can do mental math quickly on the top of your head, or maybe with the aid of a little pencil paper. And this is going to be things like, hey, if a company sells 300 units of widget A and it costs $30 to make it, and they sell it at $50, how much are they going to make in profit on selling that widget? And so being able to figure out that that's $6 million quickly and move on to the next thing is one of the first just kind of critical baseline skills they're testing. The second skill that they're looking for is someone that's really comfortable working with charts and data and being able to read a chart or an exhibit and understand what information is being communicated to me and draw the right conclusions based off that. So I can look at a chart, quickly understand what that chart's telling me and what, either the next step is for a particular case or what the logical conclusion from that chart is. So that's the second skill. The third skill is basically logical thinking, or some people might refer to it as like business acumen, but basically it is trying to understand if a person knows kind of X, Y, and Z, can they draw the right logical conclusion from those facts on what that tells them about a certain scenario or what should be done next, now that they have that particular set of facts. So those are the three things that they're really looking for, and almost every question on the McKinsey PST is designed to test one of those particular skill sets. So what we're going to do in this next section is we're actually just going to pull up examples of questions and see how they test these particular three skill sets. So let's move on to that. Okay, despite my best efforts to be brief, this video is getting a tad bit long, so we're going to take part 2 and split it out into a separate video that is coming out shortly. So thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet already, there is a big red button below. Please subscribe. We'd love to have you, and that means you'll get all our videos as soon as they come out, including part 2 of the McKinsey PST. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day.